Hello, kids, and everybody watching the stream, all three of you. I just decided to fire it up on a beautiful Sunday morning, a beautiful scalding Sunday morning, probably around 95 degrees, like it always is during the summertime here in Appalachia. And this is sort of a rarity. I actually have a guest on who I thought I had on numerous times during the early days before I started highlighting these podcasts, playthroughs, whatever. But I found out later that it's because I didn't set a certain codec to where all the sounds weren't coming through until now. I think it's called the speaks, whatever. But here to make their second debut is John and Dawn over in England. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
See, folks, I have my own ArcLight, and I have my own Mrs. ArcLight. Everybody should have their British friend.
Huzzah.
Huzzah indeed.
Huzzah!
Wouldn't go that far. Lately, I have been going to the dentist an awful lot and having some teeth pulled because I'm horrible at brushing and I'm now paying the ultimate price for it. Luckily, only four teeth have been lost, and I hope to replace them somewhere along the line, but I still have to buy myself a really nice kayak to paddle myself across the Atlantic. But that's neither here or there. Um, I felt the need to read over some of these pointers for caring of the mouth following dental extractions because I was having a very interesting conversation with John and Don regarding just flat out common sense across the pond. And okay, right off the bat, you mentioned Don, you mentioned that Novocaine isn't exactly used overseas.
We don't use it at all.
You don't.
And as far as I know, we don't use it at all. The only strong pain relief, if anything, we use is morphine, and that's during major operations. And even then, they don't use much of it. They're very careful because Novocaine. I think the reason they don't use Novocaine is because it's addictive, and they try and sway people from getting addicted to painkillers because it can be a big problem.
Eddie Guerrero comes to mind.
Mm. Yeah, it's unfortunate when it happens, but yeah, we don't use Novocaine at all, as far as I know. And whenever I've had fillings done, and whenever John's had teeth pulled and fillings done himself, he's never had Novocaine. We've just been given local anaesthetic.
I should apologize. That music was the Lord Cat stream, and I forgot to mute it. Professionalism, folks. I has none. I'll go ahead and go through the events that led up to my tooth extraction at the dentist's office, just so we can go over this bit by bit. There was uh, the usual waiting room crap. It took about, yeah, luckily it took about 30 minutes just to be seen because uh, we, well, I got in just as the place was opening up, and there was a long serpentine line outside the free clinic.
Hang on a minute.
Yes.
Can't you ring to book an appointment?
Um, when I first started, I had to book an appointment, but after that, I've been booking appointments at the end of my current appointments.
Huh, that's weird.
Oh,
Mostly because I had to do several
here
different
anyway. That's
appointments.
why I
We
get.
we always book our appointments.
Mm, mm,
The only time it's walk-in is if it's an emergency and at the hospital.
mm. Oh yeah. Like, duh.
Here's the thing. This free clinic is not open 24/7. It's not really a hospital. It's just simply a free doctor's office.
All right.
With hence the serpentine line outside the front door.
Huh.
But that's neither here or there. I went through the usual procedures. It took about 30 minutes to be seen. I got sat down. They jabbed me in they jabbed me in the cheek with the Novocaine you already mentioned.
Mm.
It's ill advised over there because it's addictive. Of course, I sat, and after a while, they started going to work on the tooth. They grabbed onto it and started moving back and forth, back and forth. By the way, for those of you listening, all two or three of you, I hope you didn't eat your lunch yet because you might lose your lunch after this. They started wiggling the tooth back and forth, back and forth. Didn't really go in any kind of circle motion, but they were trying to get the tooth and the roots loose. And because the tooth was so badly damaged from, well, lack of care, again, I'm paying the price for just ignorance and negligence. Eventually, they had to get out what I would assume is some kind of a portable bandsaw, maybe a miniature bandsaw, because it just felt like a motorized saw. One that would go inside my mouth. That's the last place you would want something of that nature. But I was on Novocaine, so I wouldn't have felt it. If they sliced my tongue off, I wouldn't have felt it till later.
Lovely. The only
That
time they use anything from what you've described is after you've had a filling to polish it, so it's not so rough around the edges, so it's smooth. It's like a little buffer thing.
I was never that lucky. I, when I was growing up, it was merely just drill, drill, baby, drill, and drill now, and fill it up with the filling.
Mm.
Luckily, there was no mercury involved. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2012, but yes. Yeah, West Virginia may be behind the times, but they're not that far behind the times. I'll say that much. You hear that? That's a piece of paper. Care of the mouth following dental
Reese.
extractions.
Care of the mouth.
Number one, and this happened immediately after the tooth got pulled, place gauze over bleeding area and bite together firmly. Change the gauze in 10 to 20 minutes. Do not let the gauze become too wet. Some bleeding following extraction is to be expected. If persistent bleeding occurs, bite on a moistened tea bag. Remove staple first. The tannic acid in the tea should help in clot formation. If significant bleeding persists, call the dental clinic. Right off the bat, I should mention it takes about a half an hour just to get from here to the free clinic. So I definitely had to change the gauze once on the trip home, and it's kind of hard to do. Granted, I wasn't the one driving, but um, it's kind of hard to change it out when I don't really know where exactly the bad spot is without touching it, and I didn't want to risk touching it, even though I was still under the influence of Novocaine. Do they?
Hmm.
But yeah, do they do that over there? Do they place gauze just from pulling a tooth?
Well, what they do here is they in they give you like this gel stuff on the part, like either, if you're having work on the top of your jaw or bottom of the jaw, they put the gel there, or if you're having work on the roof of your mouth or wherever, they put gel there, and then they inject some local anaesthetic at whichever area of the mouth they're going to be working on. They just inject it there, and all you feel is a pinch when it goes in and when they're putting the stuff in, and then after a while they then poke it to see if you can feel any pain, which you can't in my case. You can still feel them working, but you don't feel the pain. Uh, and from what I've been told by John and his mum, because I've been lucky enough to never have any removed, they put some sort of clamp around the tooth, and then they don't just go side to side. They go like clockwork and anti-clockwork motion side to side to loosen it up and to help get and to help weaken the nerves so it's not so tough to pull out, as it were. And by John, both of them, when they pull, you hear a massive crack sound.
Oh, I have definitely felt the crack.
Yeah, so you always hear the crack sound.
It, it,
Um,
it feels like they're breaking the tooth apart just to pull it out.
uh,
It got worse during the second visit, which was the last one before this one. They had to pull one on the upper jaw,
mm,
and that one was the worst, as far as I can tell. It bled the worst. It got so far that I ran out of gauze and had to try the teabag trick. And I don't know if it was because of the tannic acid or if it was just because it was a really really thick piece of makeshift gauze. Have you ever had does the teabag trick work? Do you know?
we've never had to because what literally after they've finished the procedures, no stitches are given or anything unless they've literally had to use a scalpel to slice it out, which is quite rare over here. And if it's a row of teeth they've taken out, you literally get given. They use this suction thing on it to suck the blood out, and then once they've finished, they then give you this mouthwash which you swirl out your mouth with a few times, and then they give you this cotton. It looks like cotton wool to me, and they just put it on your tooth and tell you to bite on it, and you got to keep biting on it and change it every so often.
I am to assume the blood sucking is not done by a vampire.
No, from what I've seen, it's like this. The only thing I think it is you've seen TV programs when they're like, oh, suction to suck the blood away when they're doing operations.
I
Yeah,
last
they use like something like that, and especially when they're drilling the tooth, they use water to keep it cool around the area so there's no burning. So they use water and suck the water out, or you're encouraged to try and swallow the water.
Yeah, last time I saw any kind of hospital operation was uh I know it was on a sitcom during the 80s. I unfortunately did not watch any of the hospital dramas of the last decade or this decade. Um yeah, I was totally out of the loop when ER came on as well as Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, so I would not know about
Um,
that.
yeah, they use that to get rid of it till, yeah. And usually bleeding stops like that over here. There's no problems with continual bleeding.
We'll go with number 2. To prevent dry socket, do not rinse, spit, drink through a straw, smoke, or do anything to produce suction over the blood clot for the first 24 hours. Do not use tobacco products for 24 to 48 hours. Your thoughts?
Uh, Over here, an hour after the procedure's done, you're actually encouraged to have ice lollies. Um, I think you said they're called popsicles over there. Uh,
Ice lollies.
Ice lollies,
I have
yeah.
never heard that term before.
That's what well, ice lollies. Uh, yeah, when you've had like teeth pulled, you're actually encouraged to have those because it reduces the swelling of your teeth, the area like of the gum rather that's been taken out. And you're advised not to have hot drinks because it would do. I don't know what they say. Don't have hot drinks because it will op- make open it up a bit more. You're not allowed to have alcohol for a few days, and you're not allowed to smoke for a few days either. Um, you you can have solids, solid food, but just as long as it's not really hard stuff like crisps. You can have like bread, but you can't eat. You can't eat it like until a few hours after. And they advise, if keep, like, say you've had. I'm guessing you've only had teeth removed from one side of your mouth.
Uh, let's see. 3 have been removed from my left side, and this last one was from the right side.
Mm.
But this was over a
Well,
course of 3 months.
oh, well, if it's within 3 months, then that's fine. Because where the last one that was done, was it the right one?
The last one before this one,
No, the one that's just been done.
it was the one on the right side,
Well, in that case, eat on the left side
which will be
because
kind
the
of
teeth.
difficult because
The,
I've lost just about all of the molars on my left side.
it should be fine to eat on that side perfectly.
Never thought about that way.
Mm.
By the way, the stitches. I was told that these are special stitches that dissolve over time.
Mm.
I never thought that stitches could dissolve. I thought that they would have to be snipped off after a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, they have dissolvable stitches now,
Modern medicine.
but we don't use those unless they're really, really needed during dental surgery.
Number 3, swelling. If the extraction was difficult and or bone was removed, use ice wrapped in a towel and apply to face for 20-minute periods on and off for the first 24 hours. You,
What? No, we're just encouraged to take some ibuprofen and, like I said, have ice lollies or
they,
popsicles.
they they prescribed that to me just after I left. That
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some 600 milligrams, I believe, of ibuprofen.
Hmm.
Now that's some good painkillers.
Well, they don't prescribe you the ibuprofen because you can buy it for cheap off the shelves, something like 40p.
Or as we
Like,
call it, Aleve. After 24 hours, apply heat to reduce swelling. Heat should not be applied if infection is present. Swelling with redness, fever, and moderate to severe pain are signs that infection is present. Please contact the dental clinic if you suspect infection is present. Some pain or discomfort is to be expected.
well, over here they say that to wash your mouth out with like lukewarm water and salt to help clear it, help keep it clear.
Number 4, pain. The dentist may prescribe medication for relief of pain. This clinic, however, does not this I'm sorry. This clinic, however, does not prescribe any narcotics.
Hmm. Sure it doesn't, because not Novocaine totally isn't a narcotic or anything.
Oh boy, it reminds me of the Sam Kinison routine where he suggests an idea to get some legal drugs just to prescribe some not prescribe just to requisition anal nitrate
Hmm.
and just tell the folks, listen, I've been thinking about performing dentistry in my own home, and I would like to get some anal nitrate.
Hmm.
God
Oh
bless you,
God.
Sam. Number 5, food. Soft diet and plenty of liquids are advisable at least during the first 24 hours following extraction.
Hmm.
You can bet
Well,
you can bet I've been swallowing an awful lot of ravioli.
well, you can eat normally now.
Oh, definitely. I just had an actual lunch like a normal human being.
Exactly. And I mean, as they say here, as long as you don't have tea or coffee that's hot to drink, or soup that's hot. You know, as long as you don't like have hot liquid, you're okay. And as long, you know,
Hot
you can
drinks.
eat solids as long as you keep it to the mouth that hasn't been extracted on, because they when they do perform extractions on here, they do one side at a time.
Oh God, hot drinks. You're gonna make me sing that song. Damn you, Spoonie. Number six, and you sort of touched on this earlier, but it was sort of ahead on the list, so I didn't say anything about it. Number six, tomorrow. After 24 hours, you may begin rinsing with warm salt water only. 1 teaspoon salt in 8 ounces of water every few hours. Wait at least 2 days before using regular mouthwash.
Huh.
Moving on. Number seven. This one I have yet to encounter, but damn, it sounds kind of scary. Bony edges.
Bony edges, huh?
Small, sharp, bony fragments may work up through the gums during healing. If these are annoying or painful, return to the dental clinic for evaluation. You must call, however, to make an appointment. and the
What?
and the
They
appointment
leave residue in there.
and the appointment it's never for another month because I've had to wait for a month before going back to the dentist to get the other several teeth that had to be pulled, and it had to be over subsequent appointments.
They leave residue. They don't make sure that it's all gone.
Evidently not.
Here they make sure it's gone.
That would be kind of important, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because while I get that, you know, fillings can come loose and you swallow them, you don't really notice when you swallow your fillings. But
Pardon me.
actual teeth debris, that's really bad. They here they make sure they've pulled out the whole tooth, and any bits that are there they take out.
Oh, and at the very bottom it says, if symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, fainting, or fever occur, call the dental clinic at once. Limit activities for the next 24 hours. Proper care following all surgical procedures will accelerate recovery and help prevent complications.
No, that probably just means you're allergic to the Novocaine they used on you.
I I definitely am not allergic to Novocaine. However, I have been taking a lot of naps lately. I don't know if that's
That is
related.
normal. That is normal.
Everybody should take naps every now and then.
Because I'll tell you, after that, when I've had fillings done and I've done local anaesthetic, as soon as I get home, I'm really sleepy, and I spend the next day really sleepy. It's just a minor side effect.
But yeah, that was my trip to the dental clinic.
Although it is funny when one of my mates, he had some teeth done, and he you know in those old mafia movies where how they sound, like the bosses sounded kind of like that.
Gonna run you out, see?
Yeah,
Because
pretty
because you're
much.
biting down on one side. Now I get it.
Yeah, and the side effect of local anaesthetic here is nibbling on your lip and the inside of your mouth. That's about it. And you know, they say, you know, that may occur, and if it does, try and fight the urge to do it and stop yourself doing it. But yeah, they also say that it will wear off in about an hour. So
Of course, I had to bite down on a lot of teeth just to hold in the blood last time. So it was kind of hard to talk, period. And it got to the point where I had to try to demonstrate sign language. And evidently, I suck at sign language because I can't even enunciate the word bowl with my hands, indicating that I had in fact had cereal that morning. Know what I
well,
mean?
John, when he had a load of teeth removed from the bottom of his jaw, the worst that was happening to him is he was speaking with a lisp and he was drooling.
Oh, I know about the drooling bit. So, oh my god. It says not to spit, but you may have noticed, I have a trash can next to my chair at all times.
Mm.
It's gotten so bad that I have to stop every short while just to hock a loogie because
Well, that's
God
still
for
happening to you.
God forbid I swallow the saliva. It's not blood. It's just it started after I got a nasty case of bronchitis
Oh
after a
yeah.
misfire while I was trying to blow my nose. And I never thought I would describe it in such a fashion, but yeah, there was a misfire. And I even told Jason this during the stream, and he was like, "Sounds like a misfire." He that sort of made my evening because he understood. He knew.
Well, here it's just you drool for a while. The local anaesthetic's worn off, that's it. No more drooling. No need to spit. You just need to go. And that's quite funny hearing someone do that once in a while.
Oh, I had to do that a hell of a lot during this one period while I was in grade school. I think it was grade. So it might have been junior high, which is grade 7 through 9. I had to have a spacer put in the roof of my mouth. A
Okay.
big, wide metal spacer to widen my jaw because evidently it was closing to the point where it looked like a bear's jaw or something. I don't know. But
Hmm.
a lot of times food would get trapped in there in the little area between the metal plate and the roof of my mouth, and I constantly had to go just to suck the food out so I could finish chewing it and swallow it. Now imagine a grilled cheese sandwich getting in there.
Oh god, that would be awkward.
I have lost potential friends because of this, because they could not help but make fun of the fact that I was doing that.
Not very accepting over there, are they?
We are a bunch of assholes.
Hmm. Well, it's like the other day I bought a backup PC from someone I thought was my friend and lent it to a friend who lives below me because her PC is so old that when she went on Twitter, when it loaded the tweets, it crashed her computer. It's so out of date. So I thought, this computer that I was buying as a backup just in case my laptop died because it's a piece of shit. I thought, I'd lend it to her until my laptop gave out or until she managed to get a new one of her own, which was fair enough. And after a week of having it, the PSU blew. At first, we both felt responsible for it. Like, I felt it was my fault because I'd lent it to her and all that. She felt it was her fault because she didn't leave it alone and stuff like that. And then after a while, we came to the conclusion that it was the person who sold it to me's fault. But throughout the day, we were making jokes like, oh, what was it? What one time, when she went on the computer, I turned the mouse off because we got a optical wireless mouse. I turned it off out of habit because me and John do that to save the battery. And she was like moving it around and it wasn't working. She's like, it's not working. And did you turn it off? I was like, yeah, I turned it back on. So oh, okay. I just didn't want to fiddle around with anything, and I interrupted. I was like, just in case you blew up my mouse.